Well, So I'm doing just webinar, just Zoom lives right now because, oh, well, I can do this. Oh, my. Hello. So I'm doing an X Spaces live. And along with that, I'm recording this one on Zoom. Okay. So you have a little reference. Yeah. Now, I have mentioned it as morning meanness, like me versus you, ness. Yeah. So morning meanness, rise rise and brine. Yeah. Now, brine is also related with saltiness. Yeah. So while we have oceans, we keep saying the sea of opinions. She sells seashells of the seashore and salt, different kinds of salt, seas, um, and dukkha. Yeah, I think sea of opinions come from different kinds of dukkha, and dukkha is also related with saltiness, kind of. Yeah, tears and oh my God, this happened. Well, brine. Wake up in the morning and then you do different kinds of practices. And as the day goes, you are in different stages of better brine or less brine, or you're working towards having um, less brine, yeah, or marination. Yeah. So during a journey, chance to have salt in our food, but not have dukkha. Now that's a little oxymoron, a little bit, because salt, Gandhiji also went on salt satyagraha, yeah, and that satyagraha was because there was salt, a tax imposed on salt, so much so that there was a hedge, thorny hedge, built, big wall across several states in India, yeah, one wall, so that people don't smuggle salt because salt was taxed. Okay, so salt has a sad story, a difficult story, taxed story. So, and sea salt also comes from seas of dukkha, also salty. Yeah. So there's a certain sad story that you sprinkle on your food, and the salt is necessary to for iodine benefits also. Yeah. So how much of salt you use, sugar and oil and masalas, makes a difference in how much of drama you have. Also, blood pressure concerns, also, people say not to use too much of salt. Um, I think there are some reasons like this. You're going to have too much of salty stuff. You may just be adding, okay. So I found when I have something with salt and oil, say even it's a pongal or a khichdi, yeah, I tend to reach for something sugary after. So it could be tea or it could be just anything after. So it's like a trifecta. Salt, oil, sugar is going to be there somewhere around. But through the day, these three are somehow there. And so you're maintaining a certain story of your life from what you're including in your diet. So there's a certain masala, salt, oil, sugar, and then additional masalas. Yeah. Now, salt, sugar, oil, and masalas, they add a certain flavor. But how much of masala makes a difference in what the dish turns out to be. And then how you cook your different ingredients with these masalas, including salt, oil, and sugar, makes a difference in how your life turns out to be, the quality of your life. So everything is food. It's about how much you eat of what. You're going to hog information left, right, and center. You're going to be dealing with information overwhelm. If you're going to be eating and not digesting properly, then you're going to have indigestion concerns or uh, food, different kinds of food going into your body, but then not digesting properly, and then that gets stored in other ways or improperly digested, or you have toxin. Yeah. So food may be getting broken down but staying in your body improperly digested or incompletely digested. That causes other problems. For example, crystals. Yeah. Or it is digested where there are byproducts from the digestion, and those byproducts are not getting digested. That can form crystals, that can form plaques, that can form fat deposits. Fat is also byproduct, but then if you don't burn the fat for food as fuel, then that stays as fat reserves. And then you have bank balance. Yeah, all of that bank balance. So you're like walkie-talkie bank accounts. Yeah. So what all do you have in your bank is also the health of your life. Yeah. Now, so these are layers, baggages of health, wealth, wisdom. Yeah, we are walkie-talkie, storage houses, investment bankers. What are you invested in? And accordingly is the story of your life and the content of your wellness. Yeah, so we are all well. We have a body that's human. We are already well. And then it's about what's the content of the water, of the different composition of our constitution. And then we are like walkie-talkie countries. Every country has its own constitution. So it's a good, nice reference for what's the health of your country, which is your body. Yeah. So baby and the village. So every part of the body is like different people. How you take care of your people and how your people take care of the baby. Yeah, we are all a child of life. So how the child of life takes care of the life that we are born into, of the kingdom, the um, village, of the country, of the continent, same body. We got lots of people, lands, many departments, the organization. It's a house, it's a vehicle, it's a what have you. Yeah. And then we have a memory palace. We also have planets and stars and galaxies where you can make meanings out of what they are and what they are doing. And then you got the quality of your life. If you've never opened your window house windows, you don't get to see what's outside there. If you don't step out of your door, yeah, and then feel the air, for example, you don't know what is the benefit of it. If you don't feel the sunlight on your face, you don't know what the sunlight makes available. As simple as that. And then you can make meanings. Now, so that's for a little bit of morning meanness. So me versus you is also Sat and Yam. So me is like matter and energy. And you could have a lot of air fluid level balance indifference. Okay, differences. Yeah, bloatiness, or there is lots of spaces with lots of gaps or not filled content, or it could be gas. Yeah. So if there is air fluid levels, then the me, matter plus energy composite, is not as well, like koot koot ke bharna, like so much jam packed with content that you're living like it's like encryption. You have more space according to how nicely without air fluid levels difference, like nicely jam packed with wow. Yeah, otherwise you have power concerns. Power comes from positive versus negative. There is so much of charges and mass difference that spirituality and all shows up. Otherwise, you just have reality, and virtuality is yum. Anything other than Sat, like me, matter plus energy, composite, is you. What I owe you. Yeah. You, and then you could be in a debt market. You're always owing somebody, and why you owe somebody, and then your relationship with you, somebody other than me. Where why for being why related, and what do you owe somebody, why owe you, and then the you as in the glass or container. Yeah, you owe somebody, a person, a body, an organization, an institution. And then so what's the kind of there's always a debt, gratitude, and all that stuff. So if you don't know me, yeah, the essence Sat, as in matter plus energy, and then you, as in why owe you, who am I related to? I'm always indebted. You're in the debt market. versus you don't know you know your sat and then you know your yum, as in other than me is other than sat is yum, other than me is you. So you don't know where me ends and you begin. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Excuse the expression. Yeah. As is also administrative statistical system, which makes it nice. But if you don't know, if you can't feel your butthole from the floor on which you're sitting, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Looking hours from your hole in the ground. Excuse the expression, morning hours. But then we don't talk about death in the morning table. Yeah, and death is also god of dharma, yama. And we talk about yoga. Those who talk about yoga talk about yama. Though no no. Those who think about yoga in terms of the Ashtanga, they would know yama is part of the Ashtanga, which is part of yoga. Otherwise, you're doing exercises, you're doing breath work, you're doing some form of paying attention to something. You don't even know you're doing yoga. And then if somebody says this is part of yoga, then you think, okay, you have been doing yoga. And then those who are doing yoga may not know about the Ashtanga, of which Yama is. And those who don't think about the Ashtanga don't know what Yama is talking about. What is Yama and where that Yama comes from? And then consequently, what is Satyavan and Savitri talking about? How are they related with Yama or Dharmaraja? And how did the twin flame magic of Satyavan and Savitri turn around both their family lineages? How both their family lines, male and female dynasties, became better, and we are all descendants from the love that they brought forth several, I don't know how many years, eons back. And we have mythological story. For example, we have the Karwa Chauth. There's also the Muslim marriages, for example, where they keep a cloth for marriages and then they go with the Kabul. Yeah, in Christian marriages, they say, I do. So here, Kabul as in accept. And you don't even get to see who your complementary partner is until the veil is dropped. So we each are like partners in the buddies in a battlefield, so to speak, with back to back. Yeah, our spine kind of like a heart. Heart has two halves. If you draw a heart, it has two curves. Yeah, and they are two halves of one whole. So we may not know who's our complementary partner, but if we have a body that's human, each person who has a body that's human has a complementary partner, which is why you're alive. It's like the seed of life is like a peanut, has two cotyledons, or a coffee bean has two cotyledons. Yeah, two beans. So, yeah. Now, like it or not, it's also called Prakriti and Purusha. Now, each human is nature nurture composite, Prakriti and Purusha. And one is not fixed and as is, and the other one is moving. Both move. And it's called two kinds of metabolism, Hatha or sun moon or visible invisible, matter energy, Sat and Yam. So it's not just you, and you are part of a whole system, and then there are many you around you, yeah, whom you owe to the farmer, the school, your parents, your house owner, your uh, what have you, trees, plants, microbes, earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, related to everybody, and you owe it to all of them to for you being alive, maintaining you being alive. So you need to regularly pay your rent or your what you owe to everybody so that you're regularly repaying the debt. Yeah. And when you're regularly repaying the debt, then there is sustainability. Your life becomes not so very, um, you owe me, you have to pay me, you owe me. Yeah. Less difficult. I can say this with a lot of certainty because for over the past year, I've been in the debt market owing my bills to a lot of people, including the bank. So I know how the experience of living is and was. while I paid from my salary account, savings, and then I was paying for different meetings. So I know what it is like to live from your own bank accounts versus from dependence from others, including the bank. So life has intelligently been putting me through these experiences. So I have the experience of both worlds. And over the past year, I noticed when I'm doing what I'm doing, what do I have even when I owe somebody? And then I discovered I owe earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, what have you. And then there is me, and then there is you, including my body is you, where I owe regular food, water, rest, fun, cleanliness, work, um, water, basics to maintain being alive. Otherwise, one or the other battery is down. And then when battery is a little down, those benefits are not available. Yeah. So then when you're not functioning 100% let's just say six batteries down, then life is not that much light on. Yeah, it's just a dull light. So much watt bulb. We're having functioning all the basics. Yeah, six. When you're functioning by the basics, then there is multiplication of benefits. Yeah. So six is also like a hexagon. Honeycomb, um, how honey is said to be able to be stored efficiently in a hexagon because cooperative living, when you have many hexagons on Earth at least, then container efficiency becomes better when the hexagon in a hexagon shape than in a circle. Yeah. If you're alone and not bumping against your neighbors, then you can think about how round you are, how sphere you are. Otherwise, you're a flat character. And if you're having a difficulty cooperatively existing with others, your basics are a little off. Yeah. So if you're going to say when you have money is when you're doing well, then your basics are a little off. And then we have Ashtalakshmi, where money is one of the income, one of the currencies of exchange. Yeah. So if you don't know these details, you're not educated. Yeah. So, and then you go to school and they have been teaching many things. And if you have been complaining about what they've been teaching in school, to that extent, your battery is running on positive versus negative. Yeah, you have air fluid levels and you're functioning by power dynamics and you have powerful relationships. Yeah, like powwow. I win, you win, and you have games and you have games people play. Also, Eric Byrne. But and then teams and then games and who win, who loses, all that stuff. And the drama continues and diseases too. Yeah, it's about who's doing well, who's not doing well, which country is doing well. Your body country is doing well versus many countries with different constitutions. So humanity across boundaries and other such concerns. If you can't care about all these things, to that extent, you are in different levels of drama triad. Drama. Yeah, victim, perpetrator, rescuer. Why pay round round, kuwe ke mendak. That's not the problem. The problem is when the frog can metabolize with the skin, there's the beauty and the beast. Yeah, or the frog and Prince Charming. Yeah. And then charming, charm is also one of the quarks. Yeah, there's a charm quark. And then there is up quark, down quark. There are many, there are 36 fundamental particles. Sri Chakra also has 36 dots along the gateway and then 36 dashes along the gateway. That forms for 72. Yeah. So Muslim people, they've been talking about 72 Hurparis. I don't think they know the dots from the dashes. Or maybe if they do, they don't know how to dot the dashes or dash the dots. Or if they do, they may mm, um, be related with the black box. Yeah. And they may be living from the black box, which may or may not have rounded. Like Sri Chakra is having four gateways. And the four gateways are within a circle, which is like the first circle of sacred geometry. So if they are only living from the black box and only thinking about it from a whole, yeah, they're not seeing the big picture. If they're seeing the big picture, then those people who see the related um, values are having corresponding health, wealth, and wisdom. Those who don't are looking through a hole into a small little thing and then seeing it's dark, yeah, and waiting for light, or saying doomsday, yeah, and want to build constellations uh, on other planets and stars. I have no idea. It may be the number of people who are actually seeing doomsday. I don't know if that's the case. If that's why they don't see the Earth's beautiful infrastructure and are thinking about Mars and Moon. I mean, have you seen pictures of Mars and Moon? Yeah. Have you seen Earth's pictures? If you're not seeing the beautiful infrastructure that Earth has, and I wonder, and there are so many people actually working on ideas of building civilizations on Mars and Moon. Yeah. So how many people are looking through a hole and seeing the dark? Yeah. They may not have stepped out of their glasses and actually looked at the sunlight out of their screens, or opened the windows and doors and felt the air, walked on the grass. If they did, they may not be doing movementless yoga because their body may be jam packed caked with past based impressions of food they ate which did not get digested. And so their body is layered with banks from undigested stuff or stuff stored for a later time. Yeah. So much so that they're packed with layers of, there is seven dhatus. Yeah, rasa dhatu, also kind of bank. Depending on the content of it is the quality of creatives you make. Yeah, because light passes through prism and comes into seven colors. So you have seven dhatus. Yeah. And then what is the content of the clarity of the crystal, of the different dhatus, is how the story of your life takes shape. The genre of music or of the life or theater or drama of your life, or it's epic or it's dramatic. What kind of drama? We're all actors on the stage of life. And it's about what role do you play in what genre of theater that you are in your stage of life. What kind of a movie do you have? And consequently, is what you do, what you talk about. I'm talking about enlivening life in the multiverse. Yeah, you guys are, we will go to Mars and Moon. So, to board of a catastrophe. Hey, man, you guys are, what kind of books are you reading? Or how are you reading your books? They're saying about things. If you do this, this is, you'll have this. If you don't do this, you'll have this. Which part of the equations are you reading? Yeah, and then seeing doomsday. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, that's also from Poor Metabolism. Cardinal sins, they say. So you have not got your sin, cause, and tan together. Yeah, that's also called catabolism, metabolism, anabolism. Sin, cause, tan, kind of. Creator, preserver, destroyer. Yeah, if you have not got your sin, cause, tan together, your trigonometry, your parabolas is your trajectories are pretty interesting. Yeah, rocket is lifting off to where? Yeah, it's a, what's your flights of ideas? So if you have clearly, yeah, you should contact me. Yeah, you'll get your sin, cos, and tan together. It's also called Brahmastra. Yeah, when Brahmastra is divided into three parts, you should watch the movie, Hindi movie. Yeah, where uh, Brahmastra broke was broken into three parts, and then it's all about getting it together. So here's sin, cos, tan. So life will just be so very nice once you get your trigonometry together and you get your trajectories in place. It's also called XYZ, or Ishvara Pranidhana, Ishvara Pranidhana, Ishvara Pranidhana. You have your gifts, you have your content, and then what are you doing with what you have? So I'm talking about it. So if any of this seems interesting to you, I will be in my mighty kitchen cooking up stuff. Mighty kitchen. Learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. Learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. That's where I am developing my mighty kitchen, restaurant, school. So, according to what feels ready for you, just contact me. There's also a service list. So there is a list of things that are applicable: movementless yoga, on-table therapy work, course correction counseling, community harmonizing activities. If any of this rings a bell, click on the link, make the payment, contact me, and participate. Otherwise, you remain a particle. Those who participate have become a participle, and participles improve the grammar, also like algebra, um, geometry, and arithmetic, degree of truth in your life. And then you have mathematics, mathematics. Otherwise, your life is noisy. Yeah, is like kind of yeah, yummy life. And otherwise, you have noise from Ajine Bhojanamisham. Yeah, indigestion and seven cardinal sins. You have one, you don't have cause and tan. And tan is also like suntan. Yeah, people apply lotions or apply sunscreen to protect from the tan. No, tan also is related with the Maillard reaction. Universe has also stars and galaxies. They have this Maillard reaction. When you put bread in the toaster and it turns out a little brown, that's from the Maillard reaction. The sugar going through a certain chemical process by which it browns, and that browning gives a taste to your food, which is caramelization, for example. Caramelized stuff tastes different because it's gone through the Maillard reaction. Now, why is it important? The Upanishads also say the brown color does not leave your face, which means you get the tan, fair, white versus black concerns, racial concerns, what have you. When your skin is metabolizing, also your skin is metabolizing, like frog in the well. When the frog is an amphibian between water and land, like us humans, yeah, when the metabolism is also with your skin, a lot of people can't even feel their skin. So I wonder what kind of metabolism is happening because they can't even feel the warmth that's in the body. Raynaud phenomenon. Yeah. Staying inside their body rather than being in touch with also their skin. They're scared of even being in contact with their skin. It, okay. It's more like they're so much inside their house, body house, that they haven't even warmed up to the warmth that's already there in the body and then to feel their skin. It's like you're staying in your house and you're not even touching the walls of your house. Okay? Over and above that, so you don't have the frog benefits. Oh, you should also know how to do that, yeah? Which is also why you need to contact me. But if you can't feel your skin from the warmth of your body, then that you're that much more away from what do you say, unpacking your content in this side of life since when you were born. You may be living in a room, in a house, in a community, but you haven't unpacked into the life you have this lifetime. You were born, and since then you may have been inside your body womb. Yeah, not even unpacked into the room you have, into the house you have, the life you have, and so you can't feel the warmth. Okay, just a thought. Okay, on top of that, so Maillard reaction. When you are sort of warm, feeling the warmth of your skin, you're sort of browning ish. Yeah, because sunlight has an effect on your body. There's also melanin pigment you say, but the brown color does not leave your face. And then there are people with different colors. That may be also because they have so much of gifts that they are born with from different lifetimes. Yeah, and human body has these faculties in different environments. When you are doing different things, I think I don't know how that actually works, but I do know that it's an intelligent design. opportunities would show up for you to either move through different places to learn different things, or the environment around you changes such that your place becomes a tropical country because the sun is on, you see. Yeah. That's also called Surya Namaskar. You have the sun is on inside you, that's also called Kundalini. But let's just say it's Surya Namaskar. All warm and nice. And warm as like mighty kitchen. So mighty kitchen body. You cook, you're cooking good night stuff, and the environment response. That's something I discovered over 2 years of the pandemic, where I was healing my fabric of time space, like my stories, my country, my body country, and fewer people were getting infected, and so lockdowns were getting lifted. And I noticed this once, I noticed this twice, noticed this thrice, and then I got to know that this happened more times than I know, than I have counted. Okay, so now I'm teaching the technology of how to it. So we all have Garden of Eden, tropical gardens. Book of Genesis is talking about um, serpent, temptation, but that's also the Kundalini, so to speak. Tree of wisdom and tree of life, and God appointed a cherub to guard the tree of life. So nobody goes to the tree of life because God had boo boos with God's mother and father. So you are having boo boos with your mother and father. You're the God in your Garden of Eden who's staying away from wisdom, not letting your own children, your own people, your body parts, heart, liver, lungs, to get wiser. You're not allowing yourself to get wiser. And then not connecting to the tree of life because you're maintaining your distance from your parents. Book of Genesis, a little bit of a relook. If you don't know, go look at it again. And I'll make this video, I'll post it, and then also put it on my YouTube channel. So do look through it. This is class material. The more people are more educated about what I'm talking about, you will be more ready to join my paid programs. Because then, if without paying you're hearing all of this, what becomes possible when you pay, when you contact me, because then you would have more one-to-ones, more specific conversations, and further, when you participate, otherwise you remain a particle, vehicle, you have an ickle, like an icicle, not quite warmed up to life. When you participate, you become a participle. And then there is adjective and metaphor and simile and lots of grammar. But your grammar of life, your history, her story, moves forward for the better, including your mother's story, father's story. Yeah, male dynasty, female dynasty, Satyavan Savitri. Your family lineages begins to start showing up nice. And then you would have wood-wide networks. We're all related. Me and you are all related. And then you could say, complementary. You don't know your complementary partner. You don't know vibes. Yeah. So this is. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day. This is also called meristematic diet. Food for thought, food for experience, food for me, food for you, and food for humanity across boundaries. And all Japan's parliament is said to be called a diet. So I was thinking, very interesting. So I have a new idea on what to include in my idea of meristematic diet. So you see, meristematic diet. So, lot of beautiful things. Humanity across boundaries. We are all on the same planet Earth. Imagine what is possible when we are all working together. Surely life will unlimited in the multiverse. Because this movie, A Wrinkle in Time, is talking about we heard a sound out there in the universe. So we came to inspect. That's how I met Mrs. Who, Mrs. What, Mrs. Uh, Ooh. Okay, how? No. Where? Which? Mrs. What, Mrs. Who, Mrs. Which. And then over time, I discovered there are 14 questions, 14 Mrs. And then there is this movie, Mistress of Spices. You should watch that too. Okay. This is a lot of dots for you to kind of dash, kind of watch them, make your notes. Over time, the dots will dash and the dashes will dot. And that's also a wealth of wisdom that is possible. But the more you know about some of these things, you would have gone through some of the study material you need to go through. And then when you come to the paid programs and stuff, you're more informed. That's like more informed water. What becomes possible from informed water dynamics? This is good, nice music also. You should try tapping on the surface of water. It makes sounds and you can make music out of it. Yeah. Well, lot of possibilities. Okay. So I'll leave you to your devices. Thank you so much for your kind interest. I hope this has been of value too. This is Original Humane Intelligence Facilitation Technology, or nature's original information technology. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Good day.